Well, you just saw that spot for the event that's coming up at the Ayers Hotel with Scenic River Cruises, and we have right here Mr. Bill St. Clair with Luxe Travel. Good to see you here today.
It's a pleasure.
It was going to be a wonderful event. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But first we want to talk about, you know, we still got half a year to go for 2017, and there are things that are out there that are still available that someone like yourself would know about, whether it's cruises or vacations, but particularly cruises. You know a lot of them that perhaps don't book up quite as quick as others, and they become available. Am I right?
That's right, Ken. You know, it's interesting, the cruise product and the tour product, when you look at availability, there still is quite a bit available for 2017. And on the land side, first of all, we talked to a lot of residents at Laguna Woods, and some folks want to go overseas, they want to go to Europe, and there's still plenty of availability in Europe. I would recommend a tour, frankly, because a tour compared to, say, an independent program is taken care of for you. All of the hotels are booked, all of the excursions and so forth. I know you've done some tours. So there's still plenty of space in Europe, but then also on the domestic side. As I said, we talk to Laguna Woods residents all the time, and there's a huge interest in national parks, for example. Places like Yellowstone and the Tetons, and you know, if you're interested in doing something like that, there still is quite a bit of availability for 2017.
Right, and it, quite often these areas do have tours, package tours, and not only that, a while back I was kind of looking into this, I never did do it, but there's rail tours still, and people don't realize that you can still go on a train. I know up in Canada there's one. I think there's still some in the U.S., right?
Oh my goodness, there are some fabulous rail programs. You mentioned Canada. There are programs that take you, say, from Vancouver into the Canadian Rockies. And the idea of combining, you know, the coast with properties like Banff Springs, Chateau Lake Louise, and Jasper. Just an incredible opportunity. And as you mentioned, there are rail programs as well in the U.S., and that's something that Luxe Travel really kind of, we've got our finger on the pulse as far as rail travel goes, because that's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, and I remember, this was a long time ago, but as a kid, in the days of the Santa Fe Super Chief and the California Zephyr, we went back. Yeah, this was the mid-'60s. We went back to Chicago, where my grandfather lived at the time. I still remember that. I still, I mean, of course, you know, a young boy on a train going across country, of course. But they're still there. They're still available.
Well, that's why, you know, it's interesting that you bring that up. We get lots of folks that say, you know, is there something that we can do with our extended family? So maybe it's grandparents with mom and dad and grandchildren, and a rail program is absolutely fantastic for that type of experience. And as you say, it's something that that creates a memory that lasts a lifetime. And there are programs, not just rail, but there are companies that really specialize in these types of multi-generational family experiences. And you know, it's like nothing else, because how many things in life does a grandparent have the opportunity to share with their grandkids, you know, for a week or 10 days? I mean, it's almost as if you've got a captive audience, and there's something for everyone. And cruising is another great way to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you wanted to touch on some areas we just did, but in North America here. Bill knows that just recently I went to Williamsburg, and one day we might go out to Boston and all that. People forget that, you know, go visit where America started and where our revolution started. And you also mentioned these multi-generational trips. Well, this is where Luxe Travel can really help out. When you got family members, often coming from different areas of the country, the last thing you want to do is take on that planning. It's not fun. You know,
that's right.
Let Bill do it, and his staff do that for you. They'll take on that, right?
That's right. And you know, if you combine the expertise that Luxe brings to the table with perhaps a tour, you know, an idea, if you want to plan a little further ahead, something like a fall foliage program.
I'd love to do that one.
You mentioned New England. You could start in Boston and go up into into Canada if you wanted to, into Nova Scotia and New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Fantastic. Or going to French Canada. And the advantage of going with a tour company, as we were talking about earlier, you've got all the properties that are booked for you. You've got a guide that's going to give you the history and really paint the picture that helps to create that memory. That's what I did for years and years, and you know, I think the value of having someone that knows the area, I mean, it's priceless.
Yeah,
and rather than reading a guidebook or trying to figure it out, you can let it just sort of wash over you, and it's a fantastic way to do it.
Yeah, and we want to mention too that even during the middle of the trip, if they need to call you folks and say, you know what, there's a tour we've heard about, can you check on that for me, or something has changed, or you guys can help out with that, right?
Oh yeah, that's the advantage of booking with a large travel management company. You've got the resources to help you out pre-tour, during the tour, and then post-tour as well. A lot of times people will come to us and say, oh wow, that was a fantastic experience. This is what we're looking at doing, or our friends are looking at doing, and can you help us kind of sort through the different options and possibilities?
Yeah, and there's a lot, believe me. Now, river cruises.
Yeah.
I know coming up on the 23rd, right over at the Ayers Hotel, and folks, that's just right next door to us, you're going to be having an event with Scenic River Cruises. Tell us about that.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up. There are a lot of river cruise companies, some that are more known than others, and Scenic is one of these companies that maybe is not as well known as some of the others, but we work with them all, and what we do with different river cruise companies is kind of look at the programs that they operate and the way that they operate these programs, and the value that they bring to the table. And Scenic, I really think, is one of those companies that really brings a tremendous amount of value to the table. An all-inclusive program at a price point that is comparable to some of the other river companies, but I really feel that that the expertise and the value that they bring to the table is very substantial. So we're going to have our national sales manager for Scenic River Cruises. His name is Mark Jeanette. He's been on the morning show, and at 3 o'clock on the 23rd, we're going to do maybe about an hour presentation. We'll have coffee and tea, and they bake some wonderful cookies over there.
There you go.
And if you're someone, I was talking to a resident the other day who said, well, I'm a single traveler. Perfect. If you're a single traveler, if you're thinking about multi-generational travel, if it's yourself and your husband, come and join us, hear a little bit about river cruising in general. It's not a heavy sales pitch or anything like that. We just want to provide information in general about river cruising for the residents. And then Mark, of course, will talk about his product, some of the things that are still available. There's some great Danube programs that are still available, which is kind of the quintessential European river cruise that people think about, with castles and wine tasting, and you can get on a bike and pedal along the Danube if you want. But the important thing is, if you're interested, RSVP, because we've got some limited space over there.
And we have the number on the screen there that you can look at, 336-1000. I have a question for you. I mentioned to Bill that my older sister went on a river cruise several years ago. And one of the advantages that she really liked is it's a pretty small vessel. I don't know if you call it a ship or a boat.
A vessel is fine. Yeah.
And when you look at the photo that we have for the Scenic River Cruise there, you can really see how kind of a personalized service you're going to get. How many folks do these boats hold? It's not that many.
150, 160 people. Compare
that's what makes it nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's very personalized.
Yeah.
You get to know the staff on board. There, of course, are tour directors that are with you on land and on the riverboat. I mean, the captain has dinner with the group. And the nice thing about river cruising is that compare this to 3 or 4 or 5,000 people. Right. It's much more intimate. And one of the misconceptions is with cruising in general, you're kind of stuck doing the same thing with a large
Right.
group of people. With river cruising, first of all, the numbers are much smaller, but there's a lot of time to do your own thing. So let's say you're in a city one day, you will literally step right off of the riverboat. There might be some morning sightseeing.
Right.
You might visit a palace or a castle, do some city touring, but then you're going to have a significant amount of time to explore the city
Exactly,
or the
yeah.
town. And it's really a nice blend of sightseeing with some leisure time. And of course, everything is included. So there's tremendous value in that.
Exactly.
You're not having to decide, you know, is this something that I want to participate in and pay for? It's all included in the price of the program.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And as I said, I know how much my sister really enjoyed it. And it was very personalized service. You get up those rivers and you really get to see all the different towns and villages. So this is going on. I want to mention again on the 23rd at the Ayers Hotel at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
And it's a free event, but you need to call because there's limited space. 949-336-1000. And you can get information in general about Luxe Travel at luxetm.com. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
Thank
Ken.
you very much.
It's a pleasure.
And I was telling Bill we might take a tour out to the Kentucky area, just really for one reason, right?
Is that the bourbon?
That's the bourbon. Yeah, he can help us out of that. All right, good to see you. We'll
Thanks,
see you
Ken.
next time. Take
Appreciate
care.
it.
We'll be back. It's the only reason I go.